Run.
A best top-flight start to a season and then a worrying slump. Bournemouth suffered 4 consecutive defeats. Good times over? No. On Tuesday, a home victory over Huddersfield gave the Cherries cause to cheer. Young Scottish winger Ryan Fraser has now had a hand in 11 Bournemouth goals this season. He's developed from a pacey prospect to a crucial cog in a team that's growing in confidence.
The last 2 seasons we've had slow starts, and we've always left it late to get the points in. But I think that's just hard work. I think learning from your past 2 seasons on what you've done well, but also what you've done bad, and just bringing it all together, I think set us in good stead for the rest of the season.
Visiting Liverpool have certainly set themselves in good stead, sitting second and on a 4-game winning run.
Salah for Shaqiri to finish it. If you're not careful, they can tear you apart. 1-0 down, they win 3-1.
But they lost Joe Gomez for 6 weeks. He suffered a fractured leg at Turf Moor, with Jurgen Klopp incensed at the tough tackling his team faced. Now they must steel themselves for a challenge in the Champions League against Napoli next week after this trip to Bournemouth, where they were beaten 4-3 in December 2016.
To try and keep on Manchester City. They're at Bournemouth in the early kick-off on Saturday this weekend. Here are the thoughts of Jurgen Klopp.
It's just a shame for the boy, yeah? So for us, of course, as well, he was in outstanding shape, and he helped us a lot, and especially because we could make these changes with Trent and Joe, and was really important, because Trent is still a young boy, and we cannot push them through 20 games in a row. He would probably say if it's possible, but I think it's just responsible that we have a little eye on that. So far we showed really consistency, which is the most important thing. If you reach a specific level, and you have to improve that, even you need the consistency to first of all stay on that level, and that's actually what the boys do. They are ready for all the problems in a football game so far, or were ready for all the problems in a football game, and really we deal with it. We stayed in the game, in all the games, and fought back and whatever, like in Burnley now, for example, which is really a tough place, how we all know, and being 1-0 down is usually a sign for something special for the Burnley side in this case, and we did, where we stayed really calm and used our moments with fantastic goals, and so that's a good example for the season so far. So whatever happens in a game, believe in your own tools, believe in your own strength, and use them, and that's what we did. The first target is to try to perform on highest level, because it's needed against Bournemouth. Play a fantastic season. It's just an outstanding job what Eddie is doing there, and so it will be difficult enough. But of course, every player knows about it, and so I don't have to mention it. It's clear. But it's a tough one. So Bournemouth is really in a good moment. They even if they lost a few games, I know that, but who saw the games saw it was always really hard work for the opponent, and because they are so good organized and so good in counter-attacks, full of confidence.
Well, this is a really interesting time for Liverpool. They have the derby with that extraordinary 96th-minute winner that we can see Jurgen Klopp celebrating there. Probably be making his way over to Alisson at some stage in this game. And then they come out in what in the end is reasonably comfortable over Burnley, despite Burnley going ahead in that game. They've got the game this weekend against the Bournemouth side that, as Klopp said, are playing really well. And then they've got the game against Napoli that they have to win either 1-0 or by 2 clear goals in order to progress to the Champions League knockout stages. It's going to be a hugely significant group of matches in terms of where their season ends up.
Yeah, and I think that the team, what he started with, especially the front three, changed the front three against Burnley. And in the end, you know that Firmino and Salah came onto the pitch, but I think he's got the period in mind. And for me, he's got the team that can deal with it. He can deal with us. The stress of those games coming up, but I think the Bournemouth game it will be a very it will be a tough game because Bournemouth, like you said, very organised. You know, the guys up front, whoever he's playing up there, are going to need to be a little bit sharper than they've been, if I'm going to be totally honest, because Bournemouth can counter-attack and they can hurt you. Liverpool haven't conceded too many goals, so we know that they're very resolute at the back, but at the same time, it's a game that I think they have to win, because I think Manchester City will win. And so the pressure that comes with that is what they have to deal with in this particular game for me.
That's what is so interesting about this season and about this sort of era with Guardiola's Barcelona and now Guardiola's Manchester City, is that the pressure's on right from the beginning. They are on top of everybody all the way through. There is no way you can go and get a draw. It doesn't, even against one of the top sides, it's like City wouldn't drop points in.
No. Yeah, also it's an interesting one this weekend because the first time in a month since Liverpool drew with Arsenal, actually, Liverpool play first. Because one of the things, I think one of the reasons maybe it's felt like they've been hanging on by their fingertips a bit, as well as when the goals came, is because they've played second. So straight from kick-off, the pressure on, well, you have to match what City did, because City have always won. Whereas now, they can, for the first time in a month, they can actually go ahead of City.
Even if it's, as you said, only temporary, because City have got their game against Chelsea to come later on.
Alters the dynamic a bit.
Jurgen Klopp unhappy with some of the tackling in the game against Burnley. It wasn't... well, it was partly because of the injury to Joe Gomez, who's going to be out for a while. But it wasn't just this tackle, and it wasn't even particularly this tackle that he was unhappy with. It was more the sort of the constant level of the tackling in the game. Yep. Do you think that's a response to the fact that he's got such a key player out injured for such a period of time now?
I think so, because I think that you look at someone like Burnley. That's what Burnley do. You know, that's what Burnley do.
And is it within the rules of the game?
There's no real malice in that tackle from me. I think he's gone for it. Unfortunately for Joe, you know, he's caught the wrong end of a really quite a robust challenge, but. Talking about
Burnley, fair.
But you were talking about a Burnley side that are under pressure to perform. They're at home. It's against Liverpool. They need to start trying to pick up points. Yes, they started the game pretty well, but in the end, Liverpool's quality came through. But I don't see anything malicious in the way Burnley are. They just need to get themselves going. And like I say, that weren't malicious. So I totally understand Jurgen Klopp, because he can't afford to lose players of that calibre.
Certainly not, as you said, with someone like Joe Gomez. I know he played at full-back for the game against PSG. Didn't play Trent Alexander-Arnold in that game, but to take away that, or to split up that defensive pairing of Van Dijk and Gomez at this crucial stage in the season could cost them.
Yeah, that's the thing, I suppose, because it comes down to chemistry at this point, when you develop that rhythm, and there's a kind of a... You're playing off muscle memory to a degree and trying to get those results all the time. You have to get into that rhythm. So if that to be disrupted, especially given how good the defence has been and how key that's been, that they've given up less or so many fewer sloppy goals.
And that's the thing now, because Lovren will probably come in and, with all due respect to him, you know what I mean? He's played in very, very big games, but I think that Joe Gomez, he gives you a
World Cup final.
Exactly, which he told us. But Joe Gomez, you just feel that when he's on it, he doesn't look like he's got a mistake in him. Whereas Lovren, with the ages and the experience he's got, he still looks to me like somebody, no matter what he's doing in the game, he'll give you something. And I think that is where now we're going to see how they react to that, because I just genuinely feel that with Lovren playing, you've got a chance of getting something.
Well, you know, we're looking at the negative side of this for Liverpool and the fact that they're going to be going on without Gomez. But any other season, practically, and they'd be top of the Premier League table and very much in contention to win the title. This is the 7th best top-flight start since the First Division was established. The 7th best after 15 matches. I mean, Manchester City are better.
But the thing is, Kels, the way Liverpool are playing this season, the way they've started, and what we've seen they're capable of doing last season with the forwards, who still, for me, haven't kicked in. People will be saying, but a team that are going for the Championship, this is good form. You know what I mean? They're winning games. They're not playing brilliantly well, but they're winning games. They're winning games away from home. They're nicking games at home, like we saw with Everton. And people will be saying, yeah, this is what you do when you're going for the Premier League or the Championship. But we've got Manchester City, so everybody looks at it like, it's not going too well. But it's going brilliantly for Liverpool. One
quirk from that is that 1986, which is the year that Manchester United had that great start, went on to finish in 4th place. The team that won it in 1986 was Liverpool as part of their double-winning season. It's not relevant. It's just one of those quirks that it throws up. But this season, and while Guardiola is at Manchester City, while they are reaching these heights, do we have to qualify what other managers achieve? Do we have to look at, for example, Pochettino, who always had, well, he never won, he's not won anything yet, thrown at him. Klopp hasn't won anything yet in charge of Liverpool. Do we have to qualify it because they're playing in this era with the City team?
Yeah, I think so. And ultimately, I suppose you could, maybe it involves a little bit of qualification with other people in history as well. To a certain degree, you are dependent on what you come up against. And no English club in history has come up against a team, or, well, I suppose a club with this many resources, with a manager so perfectly suited to what they've done as Guardiola. I mean, everything at City really, in terms of the football operation, is almost perfect. And we've never seen that before, really.
Apart from Liverpool, the 70s, they were pretty good.
But if we are to have a title race, a proper title race, they play each other, Liverpool and Man. This is the run of fixtures, pretty much taking us all the way up to there for Liverpool, because on the 3rd of January, it's Liverpool against Manchester City against Liverpool, which is going to be... We need, for the title race, them to be within touching distance of each other, don't we?
It's almost a slight pity that's coming so early, actually. That's not going to March, April.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. But this is why it's so important for Liverpool. Even people say why Jurgen Klopp running onto the pitch. I could totally get why he needed those 3 points. He would have taken the 1, but he needed the 3 because they're 2 points behind them. Yes, Manchester City is scoring goals upon goals, but they've got to stay in touch like that. So as when they get to them, they can beat them, or because it's so close still. Even though Man City are playing brilliantly,
even though it feels as though there's a gulf between them, it's still only 2 points. We will reassess that, of course, after this weekend's round of games. Meanwhile, Everton back in action. They reacted well to their Derby Day defeat, and this weekend, Marco Silva welcomes his old side Watford to Goodison Park.